Hi there. In the 1st century BCE, Cicero said, "All action is of the mind, and the mirror of the mind is the face, its index the eyes." Fast forward 2,000 years, and current research in psychology and neuroscience is validating this statement. It may surprise you to hear you're all mind readers. Really. You're exceedingly adept at interpreting people's intuitions, or intuiting people's intentions based on just their eyes. We've all fallen prey to this. It's termed joint attention. If I look over here, a lot of you are going to have a really hard time not imitating my gaze. And in fact, it's been suggested that we evolved the whites of our eyes solely for this type of mind reading. If we look at our closest relatives in nature, the African great apes, they don't have that trait. And consequently, they're not able, in the same way that infant humans are, to follow gaze. Stanley Milgram tested this joint attention by having groups of people stand on a busy street corner gazing up at nothing in particular. He wanted to see what would happen to passers-by. And what he found was, not surprisingly, the more people that were in that group, the greater the proportion of passers-by who looked up at whatever they were staring at. But with as few as 5 people in the group, 80% of the passers-by followed their gaze into the air. Now, magicians have known about this for centuries, and they've exploited this tendency. It's the basis of misdirection. Wherever the magician is looking is where the audience is likely to look. So recently, magician and psychologist Gustav Kuhn decided to test this out. He wanted to see what really the influence of joint attention was on magic. And so he used an eye tracker that would tell him where people were looking, and a very simple magic trick. And he had 2 conditions, one where his gaze would promote the perception of magic, and one where it wouldn't. And here's the pro-illusion condition. Lame trick. But what he found was 68% of people in that condition claimed that they saw the ball leave his hand, move into the air, and disappear in the air. Here's the anti-illusion condition. Yeah, that's even worse. Only 32% of people experienced the illusion in that condition. And everybody claimed that they were watching the ball the entire time, but they were liars. We know where they were looking. For the first and second throw, they had a very understandable set of fixations. They looked at his hand, they looked at his face, and they looked at the ball in the air, both times. But on the fake throw, instead of looking into the air, they were looking at his face. So they were using his gaze to gauge where the ball should be in space, and they judged that it had disappeared. So aside from just the dynamics of attention, the eyes can tell you more. They can tell you how much cognitive effort you're putting into a task. The more cognitive effort you expend, the greater your pupil size is. So if I were to ask each of you to memorize a series of digits, every subsequent digit that you encode will cause your pupil to dilate more and more and more. It's a really strong effect. And this is where it gets good. Eye movements also have implications for memory. Lyle, Logan, and Roediger had people memorize a list of words. And they then had half of those people move their eyes from side to side for 30 seconds. What they found was that for strongly right-handed people, those who moved their eyes from side to side had much better memory for the word list than those who didn't. And it was a really strong effect. He did it again and had them move their eyes up and down instead of left and right, and the effect didn't work. So what it suggests is that for strongly right-handed people, we aren't really using both hemispheres of our brain. So if we move our eyes back and forth like this, it's going to encourage the hemispheres of the brain to sort of interact, and it's going to lead to a deeper, richer encoding of the word list. It's very interesting. So these are ideas. The applications are up to you. I had more I wanted to talk about, couldn't fit it in. I'd love to talk to you afterwards. And I also want to put a shout out to rankin.co.uk. He's the photographer that took the images of these beautiful irises. Go to his website, check it out. It's from an exhibition called Eyescapes. and I will be around afterward. I'd love to talk to you about this stuff. I've got some handouts with more information that I couldn't get to. I love talking about this stuff, so come and seek me out. Thanks a lot.